Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and I think today's Wednesday. I don't even know what day of the week it is. It's Wednesday. It's May the 13th. This will be our chart lesson for the day, and another good trading day. The last couple of days, actually, we started a little earlier today. Notice how the pattern's almost identical to what we had yesterday. Uh, we had that little overnight rally, and when he traded down, corrected a little bit, and then boom, and it actually started around, I guess it did, the big sell-off started a little later, around 2 o'clock yesterday. Let's see today. Yeah, by 2 o'clock we were, but you see the big sell-off started around 9 or 10 o'clock, and that's about when it started yesterday, about 9 or 10 o'clock. And you never know what's going on, but my guess is there's some large institutions that are dumping some stock. And this has been a nice rally. I read somewhere this was the largest rally in the history of the market the last month was. And that's because we'd fallen so far and we rallied back so quick. I mean, it's hard to believe we've gotten back to 2,900, almost back to 3,000. It's absolutely, I mean, there's no reason for the market. There's no good financial news. Most of the earnings that you saw come out in the spring were not very good. There's so many people out of work. The economy's been shut down. So as you notice, most of the rally comes in the overnight. We didn't even have much of a rally in the overnight last night. At least we've had some pretty big rallies in the overnight previously. I guess maybe it is bigger than it looks just because I'm out at such a bigger level. My screen is so big now. This is like a 24-inch screen. I went from a 20 to a 24. I thought 20 was pretty big for a chart, but this is a spectacular. So if you get a chance to get you one of these big, one of these newer, larger screens, they're pretty nice. So I'm really enjoying this one. This is really helping with my eyesight and all too, until I get my surgery. So, but one thing I did want to show you while I've got the whole chart out here. Notice the little leg we had yesterday afternoon that went into last night. When we kept going lower, much further, your first target should be this leg. Well, why am I not getting that? There we go. That should be your first target. And if we keep going from that, and you can see we went right to that tick, to the tick, to that, and we corrected a little bit, and then it took off again. So from there, I'd probably just look for another measured move like that. And you see, we didn't quite get that one. But once we started going lower, I'd look for the last bigger leg, which was here. And if you measure that and bring it over, actually that's where it started down. You see, we got that basically to the tick. So that would have given you a nice target. I mean, you can't get any closer than that. So always use those targets when you can. They really help. And we had that big move down, and then we just went sideways. Not a whole lot of buying came in. You see we bounced a little bit. We ended up, notice that channel working. I mean, this is perfect price action. We made a new low. We finally got a break, and they really had to work it down, but they finally made a new low, and then it's correcting. And you'll notice I only marked trades till about 11 o'clock today. There were plenty of good trades in there. So we're running out of time every day, so I want to keep these down to about 20 minutes just to keep them realistic. I think they're becoming too big. They're becoming too long, but we've got a lot of good stuff to cover, but I'm going to try to keep them down to 20 minutes. So I'm going to keep making this bigger so we can really see it here. And there was a lot of easy to find trades in here today. Today was a good trade, and I had a bunch of emails from people talking about how good a trading day they had. But let's see, I'm going to pause it here just a second. Actually, before I do that, I wanted to talk about signal bars. There's a lot of confusion about signal bars. There's only two things you really need to remember about signal bars. If you're going long, you need a bullish bar. And if you're going short, you need a bearish bar. You don't want a neutral bar if you're going long or short, and you don't want a bearish bar if you're going long, and you don't want a bullish bar if you're going short. It's that simple. And I'll point out some good signal bars here. I'm not saying these are trades that you want to take, but this is what a good signal bar looks like. That's a bullish bar. Notice how it closes almost on its high. That's bullish. There's a great bullish bar. There's a great one. That's one. That's even a bullish bar. It's only a couple of ticks off its high. That one's okay. That one's bullish. See, that's pretty neutral. Maybe. That one's questionable right there. It's got a few ticks. Maybe you'd take that in the right situation. Now, that's a really bullish bar. Look how it goes. I mean, it gapped it right there. You wouldn't even got a chance to get in that one. That one's too questionable down there. If it closed one more tick down, it'd been right in the middle. That's a neutral bar. You don't want to go long on a neutral bar. So that one's very bullish we talked about. Now see, that's a real neutral bar right there. You can't go long on that bar. That one's bullish. That one's close to being neutral. You might go long on that one with a really good setup. That's a good signal bar. That one broke lower and turned up, so it'd be okay. If you just wanted to use that for a signal bar, I think it's a little big not to have closed on its high. That one's okay. See that right there? That's too bearish. It closes right in the middle, so it's really a neutral type bar, but it's more bearish than it is neutral. There's a good strong bar. You don't want to enter way up there, but now coming down, look how bearish that bar is. That bar is not bearish at all. It's bullish. That one's okay. That one's too neutral. That one's bullish. That's a nice bearish bar. That's a nice bearish bar. That's a nice bearish. It's not really a signal bar though. There's a great signal bar. Oops. That one's pretty bearish. That one's really bearish. I mean, look at all these bearish. See, that one's too neutral. Bearish, bearish. That's relatively bearish. That's bearish. Definitely. That one's questionable. It's close. One more tick up. It'd been in the middle. So, but it's more to the downside. So it's more bearish than bullish. That's too neutral. That's too neutral. There's a good bearish one. That one's bearish enough. That one, you might take that short. It's a second entry. Well, no, it's not. Take that back. But you still might take that one. There's a good bearish bar. That's a good bearish signal bar. There's a nice little bullish signal bar. That one's bearish. Look how bearish that is. See, that's too bullish right there. That one's nice for a short. That one's too bullish. That one's close. One more tick though and it'd probably be in the middle. So it's close, but it's closing more to the low side than it is the high. In the right situation, you may take it. So I hope that's clear about signal bars. The signal bars are not that difficult. You just want it. You need a bullish bar to go long and you need a bearish bar to go short. No neutral bars and no bullish bars for going short and no bearish bars for going long. It's really that simple. All right, somebody else asked me, how do you know if a market is reversing? How do you know when it's reversing? Well, first of all, look at this reversal right here. Notice what happened. We had a trend channel working up. You got a break, you move to a new high, and then look what happens here. You move down, you get a first entry, and you move down, and look how you shoot right through the EMA. You come back, and you get a second entry right there, but that's not a very good setup. But when it tries to go higher again, and now you got a double test. Can you see that double test right across there? But you can see it. You made that high. You tested it once. You tested it twice. But notice from here, it's a first entry, second entry. That's what a reversal looks like. You're expecting one already because this is played out. Now all you need to do is see a good setup showing you it's going down. Now look how this one did. It just ran up, it tested at the EMA once and fell back through and then went lower again. That didn't happen here. Once you got through, it was done and gone. And you never know. I mean, if you see this setup and you get a setup, you take it. And you just want to make sure you're going to get a scalp. That's all you're thinking at the time you took this. But look what happens. If it's a true reversal, it's off to the races. I guarantee you, this one fooled a bunch of people. They just see prices running up and they start getting long right here, and then they stop them out. And notice how that's a little two swing. What does that mean? It's probably the middle of that pattern. There's leg one. There's leg two. A perfect measured move, and then you get another correction. When you see those two legs in the middle, it usually means it's the middle of the pattern. Here's another one. Notice that you made this leg up, and you had a little, this is really one leg and then another leg. And if you measure them, you'll see they're pretty close. It's just more sideways than down. But it's two legs down right there, and you can see it's close. But measure that first leg, come over here, and then there's your next leg up, and we went a little higher there. The market got, and that's telling you something. The market got overdone. And there, here's another reversal. Look how you fall through. That's not a good. I'd probably call that a double top, and then there's your first leg, and then your second leg, and so there's a little fail. But that's not a good setup. You want it to come back to the EMA. This is pretty weak, but it's not a good reversal. Here's one. We bounced, pulled back, and then you pull back and test it again. This doesn't turn out to be a reversal, but that's what you're looking for, just to get a short. And sometimes you get a good reversal, sometimes you don't. This one, it went a little higher. You probably could have got a little runner out of that. But the way you figure this stuff out is go look at old charts and go to where prices reverse and just study what it looks like. Study. That's a perfect reversal pattern after seeing everything you need for a reversal. That's what you want to see. So go to wherever you see, like right here. Study these patterns, what they look like, where you see reversals. So you start to recognize, the first thing you have to do in this is learn to see it after the fact at the end of the day. And then from there, what you want to do is learn to see it in real time, and you'll slowly start to see that in real time. But you got to learn to see it after the fact first. If you can't recognize it after the fact, you sure can't expect to recognize it during, in real time. Okay, this trader sent me his chart, wanted me to look at some of his stuff. He did some pretty good things on here, and he did a couple of things that he didn't quite get it right. 6 trades, 6 wins, he made 12 points. That's pretty good trading. This first one, he called this a failed second entry short, which it's really not. Notice your new low, and then you get a first entry right there, and then there's your second entry. So technically he's right, because it failed when it broke higher right there. So technically he is correct that this was a failed second entry short, right where he marked it. But I think he thought it was the break blow. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he did recognize what's going on. So okay, this trader sent me his chart. Some pretty good work here. 6 trades, 6 wins, 12 points. His first trade here, notice he's got a first entry short, a second entry short. So he saw the second entry short, and he also saw the failed breakout. So that's good trading right there. And he comes back here, he sees that one too aggressive. Of course, I've already went over all these trades, so I just wanted to show you somebody that's reading it really well. He saw this second entry short. Look at that nice bar right there again. He reads it perfectly. Two-legged pull back to the EMA and a perfect reversal bar. Doesn't get much better. He saw this one. Another second entry short, first entry, and actually it's not a second entry, but it is, because you can call that a double bottom. But notice first entry and then second entry. He pegged that one too. This one he treated as a failed second entry short. I wouldn't really call it that. This is real tight. There's a little bitty range right there, and it's just a little failed breakout. And this is a bigger range, and that's just the middle of it. So we're just bouncing off the midline basically. That one's a little bit questionable, but when it bounced back here, you figure that's where it's going, and as long as you got enough room, you could probably take that one. But you see right here how this time we came right through the EMA. So you don't know that it won't break higher because we just came off the top. The expectation is we're going to the bottom. So that one's a little iffy, but you see it still worked. And then this was the one you would have been waiting on to bounce down here. Quick, easy move. So that was a good trading. Very nice chart. He's reading this very well. You see, look how well his trend lines are fitting pretty good. This is some pretty good charting right here. This is somebody that's reading the market really well. So nice job by this guy. Okay, this gentleman sent me his chart. He read the price action right, but he didn't enter correctly. Notice you made a new high and you're working back and you get a first entry right here. Nice signal ball on the first entry. But this is why we wait on second entries, because the market moves in twos and it needed two legs before it corrected again. This is really just going sideways here, but we did trend up. But it made a new high, first entry, then it pulls back. Here's your second entry right here. And so your entry is on as soon as this bar completes, you need to learn how to trade from your chart, especially if you've got that ability. Just right click, drop your order in real quick, one tick above this bar, and then when this broke higher, you would enter. And if it didn't break higher and kept going lower, just cancel your order and reevaluate. But your entry is one tick above this bar, not one tick above this bar, and certainly not way up here right into the EMA. See how that found resistance and turned back? That could have ended badly. But he got out by the skin of his teeth. Actually, it kept on going up, but that could have ended badly. Look at that resistance right there. You entered 2 bars too late, and probably 1, 2, 3. Most people, what it is that's where your scalp was. You had to get your 5 ticks probably, and that's where everybody was taking their profits, and that's why it backed up before it went higher. So you're getting in where all the smart traders are getting out. And you're helping feed them. You gave them an easy exit because you're buying and they're looking to sell because they've already entered down here and they're exiting with their profits. So you got to enter correctly. And this could have been and your safety stop has to go down here. So putting your safety stop here, you could have still, actually you entered on this bar, so you would have had to put your safety stop right here, and you had to probably take a bunch of heat and almost get stopped out. You read it right, but you didn't enter right. So make sure you understand your signal bar is always the highest or lowest bar in the swing. If you were going short, there's your signal bar, the highest bar in the swing. That's the lowest bar here. That's why it's the first entry. That's the highest bar if you were going short. This is the lowest bar if you're going long. There's the highest bar if you're going short. These are all highest bars if you were going short there. You got to enter at the right place. If you can't enter one tick late or one tick early because it'll mess you up. So good read on the second entry here. Just work on your entering at the right place and you'll be good. Okay, this trader sent me his chart, and this was not a good entry here. He read this wrong. As you notice, you're moving up, and it ticked lower right there. So there's that's just a first entry right there, and then it made a higher low. So your second entry short was really right there, and that's not really a good setup because by that time you're going sideways. I probably would have waited on a lower high, but if you might enter there. Because this is a strong downtrend, it is a second entry, and you do have a bearish bar right there. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger. There we go, that's a little better. But you can see you're moving up, and this bar broke lower right here. So there's your first entry, because those are 2 matching lows right there. And so I think he told me he accidentally entered here by accident. He was trying to get his stop 1 tick below that, and it entered him in, but really he should have entered here. And if he enters here 1 tick below that, this trade takes 0 heat and he gets out. He gets probably a 30-second scalp, and he's done. And he wouldn't have caught a runner because it does come if he went to break you, and depending on how he manages a runner. But the thing is, that's an inside bar, and you're stacked up there, and your safety stop has to go above this bar. So he didn't even get his safety stop in. Well, actually, he probably had it one tick above this bar, and it ticked him out to the tick. That's what happens to you when you don't do this properly. So there's just some user error there. Make sure you're entering your stuff at the right place. Don't be so eager to enter that you drop your entry order at the wrong place. You're better off to miss the trade. Just let it go. There'll be another one that came up today. There were trades all day long. Okay, I just wanted to show this guy's trades here real quickly. He basically sent me an email and said he's been at this for about 4 or 5 months, and I've got several of these emails lately where people are just new to this and they're just having great success, and they're asking me if they're just getting lucky or what. But 21 trades and 20 winners, 95.24%. Somebody posted the other day they don't like to see performance, but a lot of people tell me they like to see if other people are having success. So I don't know whether to post these or not. So if you want to, if we post in the videos what you want to see, I mean in the comments. If you don't want to see these, I won't show them. But I always have people asking me, does anybody have any success? Who has success? Is anybody? So I try to show this stuff to show you that it can be done. It's not, and these are people that haven't been doing this very long. Imagine when somebody this good has been doing it for 20 years, how good they're going to be. I mean, this is impressive. So, I don't see all his trades. So, but Max 16 consecutive winners, and I think this only loser he had, I believe he told me in his email that was just a break-even stop on his runner. And that's the thing, I look at my performance and I think I didn't have that many losers, but then I forget if you get a break-even trade, it shows as a loser because you didn't make any money. That's the way NinjaTrader processes it anyway. So you can't, usually whatever your results say in NinjaTrader, they'll probably be a lot better than that. So, but yeah, he says that he moved his stop to break him. So he didn't really have any losers. That's just a break-even trade. So that's great results. Congratulations to this guy. Hopefully he just continues to get. But again, put some comments if you like seeing this and you don't, because I don't want to show anything people don't want to see. So this just makes the video longer. But at one point people were begging for stuff like this, so I'm just showing it. But somebody made the comment that they didn't care anything about seeing this. Please don't show it. So I don't know. Give me some thoughts on it, and we'll do what you want to do. Okay, I'd like to stop this at 25 minutes, so I got about 2 minutes. But 7 o'clock came right in here. Notice that you had this channel. This was the main channel working up. You had your break, moved to a new high. You found resistance. And the only reason I liked this one a little bit was notice that high. You tried to go higher once and then twice. So you got a little double test of that. And it is a second entry short, but it's a failed second entry long. So it's probably going to trap some traders. And you can see how fast that thing just rocketed down. That's a nice trap right there. People trying to get long at the top and not knowing what they're doing, and then boom. And then notice, and if you were just patient, you didn't have to take that one. Then first entry, second entry, and that's a little. And notice you made that high, a little double test, big, nice bearish reversal type bar. It was trading up. And I guarantee you while it was trading up, people were sneaking in, and all of a sudden it closes, boom, and the bottom falls out of it again. That was two great trades, and if you caught either one of those, you had runners on them, you were done for the day. That's all it took. Be done by 8 o'clock, before 8 o'clock. And then notice what happens. It pushes back up. First entry, you get this little congestion, a little failed breakout. A second entry short right there, counting from the lows. Once past this bar, it started to stack up, so you really can't enter. If you'd had a good signal bar there, you might have with enough room to get out, but you just don't have it there. But look at that move. So anybody that had a good signal bar here and could catch that, that was a great move down. And then notice you made a low. First entry, second entry, nice signal bar, and that was the little 2 measured legs, and then you started up. I wouldn't go long there though. Well, you might take a long there on that higher low with 2 legs down like that, and but it's such a big bar. It actually broke lower and turned up, so you could have entered right there on a buy stop. It's still a pretty big bar. I mean, that's, where's the range on that one? For some reason it wasn't coming up. There we go. I don't know if I'm just not seeing it or if it's not there. Maybe when I reloaded this, I might have reloaded the wrong indicator. It usually tells you how many ticks are in the bar. But anyway, shoots up, and guess what? First entry, second entry. There's you another one. And then again, past that one, it's too jumbled up. And then you bounce down here. You make a higher low. It actually breaks lower and turns up. You got enough room to get out. You can go long right there, and this thing just keeps going. And that's when you'd look for that next leg. You actually already had your 2 legs, but you'd still measure that one just in case there's a third leg. But this just keeps going. So then you know to measure this leg and move it over here. But you really don't get a chance to enter in here. You do get a close outside the new high, and there's a lower high right in here. But notice how you had 1, 2, 3, and that's a doji, and then that one stacked up, and so it's just too many bars stacking up there. Originally, I would have had that right there. We ended up moving it down when the range kind of expanded. But you just don't really get a good chance. You might have gone long right there, because that is the second entry, first entry, second entry. But we don't care much about second entries in these little tight ranges. But you get a chance to go go long at the low of the range. But you see, it would have worked, but it wasn't long before it shoots off the other way. There's a little bit of a breakout pullback short right there too. But when it had made those matching lows, I'm not crazy about it. But now you bounce off the trend line. Not a very good signal bar, but then you try to go lower again. Fairly bullish bar right there. Just go long 1 tick above that, and when that takes off, I'd look for a measured leg just like that. Boom. And then this is kind of a repeat pattern of this right here. When you see those repeat patterns, take it and then look at it go, and then there's your little lower high on the failed second entry long. It broke higher and turned down. They trapped some people right there, but you actually might have considered entering right here, but you're really starting to get too far away from the EMA. But that's another possibility. I can at least make that one green. It's taking too long to do this. I'm past my 25 minutes by a minute or two. But anyway, look, there's another second entry right there, right off, to the tick off that trend line. Came back to it again. Notice how you overshot this one a little bit, and then you overshot it here, but then you got that big bearish bar. Normally I'd tell you this one is close to being green because you got that little channel working up. But this is a strong sell-off. That's at the key entry point, and it broke higher first and then went out the other side. You could have waited for it to close and maybe even still enter, but when it went out that other side, they had people trapped. I would have jumped in there trying to pick bottoms. And boom, and it actually is a spiking channel. It spikes down and goes into that little tight channel. And I didn't mark anything on there but you can see there's a little channel right there. And there's probably some setups off that channel right in there. Probably there's a second, notice first entry, second entry right there's your one right there. That would have been a nice little setup. And I wanted to show you this, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Notice how we had the little overshoot. We didn't get a close outside, but look how we couldn't get back. We found support down here. This was the line for that perfect measured move. And notice how we couldn't get back down to this trend line, and we bounced. That's telling you something's changing. And so be more picky on your shorts. And then look at this little channel working up. And notice how we didn't get back there right there. And that's telling you something, and then we close outside, then we just start going sideways. So when you see that, be prepared for something to happen over here. It may not, but that's telling you that, hey, prices weren't even strong enough to get back down to the trend channel line. We're probably going to overshoot the trend line. So then we just went flat into the 2 o'clock, and we pretty much traded that range, stayed in that range. You could have found some nice trades in this little range. It's a little two-tiered range with a midline in it. We ended up breaking down a little bit here after 2 o'clock, but pretty good trading day. So I hope everybody did well today. When you see a trend like this, it's simple. I mean, every one of these would have got a runner, and you only got to catch one of those trades. But we're at 30 minutes. I'm gonna wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next.